Mr. Chairman, can I answer? All right, that's fine. We can keep going. Just keep going.
Just real quickly, we are scheduled to pass the partial claims bill next week off the floor over to the Senate. I would encourage everybody to support that so that we can cure those type problems and then go and encourage our senators to do the same as quickly as possible. So with that, Dr. Murphy, you're recognized for 7 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome, Secretary Collins. I am very heartened to see someone of your caliber, intellect, and desire to help our veterans. We appreciate your service. You know, we started off the committee, we talked about what things are different now. It's oversight, it's accountability. Personally, I liked our last secretary, but I thought he was extremely ineffective. We come in here and we were riddled with a sexual scandal cover-up that occupied, unfortunately, a couple hearings in this committee. We had cost overruns, but they weren't cost overruns. It's time actually for people to come in, and as you said, the VA is broken. And continuing to pour money and to hire individuals who, by the last administration's report, overhired, it just is nonsense. It doesn't help our veterans. So to that point, you've been in this job 4 months. Can you tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 how good you believe our VA is efficient?
An overall number would probably not do justice to everything. I think there's some areas that were completely inefficient, and then there's other areas that we have been able to do things better. So I think I'm not going to make a blanket statement on that we're a 4 or a 5. I mean, I don't think we're rating a record here. But yeah, I think we're probably at a situation when it comes to our IT programs, when it comes to our employee management, when it comes to our efficiencies in doing things such as contracting, payroll, HR. We're probably lower than we need to be, especially when compared to the industry.
Yeah, so you spoke a little bit about building a hospital. I've been intimately involved in a lot of administrative stuff. I still practice. I still see veterans. If the outside world can do things infinitely more efficiently and less cost-effective, why can the VA not do it? And this is just emblematic of what some people feel our government should do, is just pour money into a system that doesn't work. So I appreciate the efficiency and accountability that you bring into the office. One thing, speaking of which, I'd love to bring up the EHR issue. I've sat on this committee now, I think, close to 6 years, and I'm still dumbfounded at the billions and billions and billions of dollars that have been poured into an EHR that should have never been done to in the first place. It's not a system that should be used for the largest healthcare system in the country. So I know this is a big priority of yours, and I'd love to know your thoughts about how we can actually implement a system that's only in just a few hospitals and centers at this point.
Thank you, Congressman. This was the one that was dropped on my plate from day one, and frankly, it was just dropped as a just a cold fish, so to speak. It was just nothing was happening. The previous administration, the previous secretary had put a pause, and basically it was just sort of a death knell because nobody was talking, nobody was doing anything to move anything forward. This was after we had poured billions of dollars into the system. Now, I could go back and I could, talk for days about how it was, probably poorly started, poorly funded, poorly integrated, poorly everything. But what I chose to do was from day one is walk in with fresh eyes and say, okay, here's what I've been given, here's what we have to do. So what we did was we basically took the two positions, the VA position and Oracle position, and we came to see what each said about each other. Then we put them in a room, and then I had them basically talk to each other, and then I locked them away and said, we got to fix this system. Don't come out until you fix it. What we're at right now is instead of maybe 4 next year in the Michigan area, we're actually going to be doing 13 across that entire VISN. And let me just tell you what I have control over, and also what I have control over a vendor or a client, which I believe Oracle to be. VA we had almost, I think it was 8 or 9 committees that everything had to go through to determine what standardization would look like. So in other words, if we wanted to code something, it had to go through 8 different committees differently, then to come to a final committee before it then could go to be discussed with Oracle. I did away with every committee except the final committee after they had their meeting. We only have 1 committee now. Dr. Evans talks directly to Oracle. Oracle talks directly to Dr. Evans on standardization issues. We're going to standardize from here on out, which is what every other hospital in the world does. Yep. We have about 10% that is unique to VA, and we're going to work through those again as we go forward. By doing that was able then to allow us to speed up the process and allow us to add the 9 more sites that we're going to. Great. This also then takes into account looking ahead to gain momentum. is anybody here in a longer system? And if you go back to DOD, and for both sides of the aisle, the DOD did this over the years. They had a pause, and they actually came out of the pause and were standardized and got it done. They finished their side of it. And at roughly the same time the VA was supposed to be. So we're just looking to actually now get the momentum so we can go into others 20 to 25 to 30 to get this done.
Yeah, and that's, I applaud you at that. It was criminal that nothing more was done. This has been a failed system from the start. It's neglect. It's point blank neglect that this is not already in every VA system. And to your point earlier about being able to communicate with community care doctors, everything, I don't know what the hatred is about community care in this committee sometimes. I swear to God, they just don't, I don't understand it. I've taken care of patients. We want a seamless approach, and we want the best physicians and the most readily accessible physicians. And it's nothing a pro or con, anything against or for the VA, it's pro-veteran. It's what is being done, and we need to be able to communicate with those individuals. I don't know how many times I've seen a veteran, and I can't get records from hell about the patient itself. So thank you for actually doing something about it. I'm going to follow up with one other point that's already been stated twice. Anesthesiologists need to be in charge of the operating room. It's a team approach. There needs to be a quarterback. I don't care if the fullback says that they're as good as the quarterback. They're not. That's what we want. We want the best for our veterans, and that's period. And finally, an issue that is near and dear to me, you've talked about veteran suicide. We've talked and talked, and we've poured money upon money upon money, and we haven't moved the needle. I have scrubbed a particular therapy that I truly believe moves the needle in the state of North Carolina. It is doing tremendous things to help our veterans, and that's hyperbaric oxygen. I don't know why this is a partisan issue. I mean, they're using it all over in Israel. They're using it in other places in the country. I have a bill, H.R. 1336, Veterans National Traumatic Brain Injury Act, that heretofore the VA has opposed the bill. We want to do everything for those individuals who are at the end of their rope, and I'd love to have the VA drop its opposition. This is something our veterans should have in their arsenal.
Congressman, I look forward to you working your bill through the Congress and go, and we'll be, from our perspective, giving the treatments we've had, the research that we have to provide you the research that we've seen, and where we can find that it might work, they'll be happy to see that come on, and we'll follow the lead of this Congress.
I appreciate that commitment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.